Okay, welcome to the regular council meeting, October 12th, 2021. Sorry for the delay. We were in an executive session. Margot, take it away.
For the benefit of the public, I will take another roll call. Councilwoman Cotton.
Present.
Councilman Elms, we do expect to join us. Councilman Foster is excused. Councilman Iannacone.
Here.
Councilwoman Mayer.
Here.
Councilman Silva.
Present.
And Council President Armington.
Here.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move into a moment of silence. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Okay, as usual, before we get started, please be aware that public comment during the public hearing portions of this meeting will be moderated through the Zoom app. At the appropriate time, members of the public wishing to speak should indicate so by raising his or her hand in the app. You will find the raise your hand icon at the bottom left side of your screen. You may also raise your hand by pressing *9 on your phone. When it is your turn, the moderator will send a signal through the app and ask that you unmute yourself so that you may be heard. To unmute yourself on the telephone, press *6. We have five items on the consent agenda this evening. Unless a member of council would like to pull one for separate consideration, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay,
Margot, I just joined.
Okay, Councilman Elms has now joined. Thank you.
Yep.
There's a motion on the table to approve the consent agenda, Councilman.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Armington?
Yes.
At this time, I will open the floor for a public hearing on any matter. Again, please raise your hand in the Zoom app to indicate that you would like to speak. If you've joined the meeting via telephone, press *9. Kindly state your name and address and limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Be advised, that any derogatory comments targeting members of council and or administration may be ruled out of order. No comments were received via email.
We have 3 public speakers. The first speaker is Kristen Ace. Ms. Ace, if you will unmute yourself and state your name and address to the record, please.
Hi, I'm Kristen Ace and I live at 24 Franklin Street. I'm here as a representative of the Shade Tree Commission. I'm the chair. We have an issue that we need council help with. Before I start, I want to thank Councilwoman Mayer for her constant support of the Shade Tree Commission. And I'd like to thank Councilwoman Cotton for literally getting her hands dirty at Granby Park while we did some invasive remediation. And we thank all of you on the council for your support and everything that you do for our town. The issue that we are addressing with you today are the forested areas of the Morristown parks. We've been monitoring the parks for the past 2 years and collecting data, and where we are now is we are fairly certain that in the next 5 years, if we don't move faster, we will lose the forested areas of our parks due to invasive vines. The Shade Tree Commission has the science and the training and a plan, but we absolutely cannot do it alone. And we've had incredible help from Joe Curlow and the DPW this summer, doing some invasive removal and remediation, but we do need to move more quickly. The idea is that if we can get these vines cut before they actually get onto the trees, and keep them at ground level until we can slowly move into these areas to remediate the invasives, then we have a better shot at saving the trees. If you look out into the forest, you'll see it green and you'll think everything is healthy, but you're not actually seeing trees, you're seeing vines. The vines grow up the tree trunks, they smother the canopies, and they move across the forested areas through the canopies. And, you know, by the end of the summer, we could lose half a forest to the vines. These vines grow 25 feet in a year. So what we'd like is we're hoping that you guys can all help us by getting into your aspects of the community and finding us a couple of people per park to do the not so sexy work of keeping these vines cut at ground level before they get to the trees. We're happy to answer any questions. We can meet with you privately. We can meet with you publicly. You can come to a Shade Tree Commission meeting, whatever you guys need to answer your questions. We do appreciate all that you do, and your support of us means that you're going to have a healthy tree canopy. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll answer any questions that you need at any time. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen.
Okay, the next public speaker is Chris Connors. Chris, if you would unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record, please.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
My name is Chris Connors from 59 Washington Avenue. I was one of the public members on the Cannabis Committee, and that team worked diligently to agree to and finalize a resolution recommendation. We haven't heard anything since, and I was hoping someone can explain when it will be introduced or what may be delaying the introduction and licensing of establishments. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Connors.
Okay.
The next public speaker is Jennifer Weil or Wheel. If you please unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Jennifer Weil, 77 Miller Road in Morristown. My husband and I are here today to talk about the Assumption School and the problem with the traffic in the morning and in the afternoon. The intersection. Our daughter, Cooper, was in a car accident recently on September 13th, trying to make her way across the avenue, McCullough. The crossing guard is not enough. There was a bus blocking her view, 2 lanes in 1 lane, and a cab was speeding coming the other direction and hit her and totaled her car. Thankfully, no one was injured. We spoke to the police officer, Linda Carrington spoke to the cop. There needs to be a cop there, either paid by the town or paid by Assumption. Peck has one, Morristown Barrett has one where my daughter goes to school. Someone's going to get really, really hurt. It's an ongoing problem. I've never complained about the nonstop parking on my road for the pickup around 2 o'clock. That also blocks traffic, but the morning, that intersection, someone is going to get really, really hurt. They need to hire a cop and to monitor in the morning and in the afternoon, and not just have a crossing guard. That's it. But thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Weil.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. The next public speaker is Kelly Montez. Ms. Montez, I will have to, you have an older version of Zoom, so I'll need to put you on video. So please turn off your video. If you would unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record.
Certainly, thank you. Kelly Montez, Flagler Street here. Quickly, according to the Spring Street Redevelopment Plan Amendment 3 prepared by Phil Abramson, it states in regard to the redevelopment area, to the north of the site is the Second Ward neighborhood. The poor quality of pedestrian infrastructure, high vehicle traffic on Speedwell Avenue and Spring Street, and design of Headquarters Plaza, which literally turns its back to the neighborhood with its parking garage, contribute to a retail dead zone and physical separation between the Second Ward neighborhood and the rest of the town. These conditions also result in Headquarters Plaza Shopping Mall and Pioneer Park being underutilized. While not part of the scope of the redevelopment plan, the town is currently overseeing improvements to make Pioneer Plaza more hospitable and welcoming. So my question is, with the park complete, what improvements were implemented to make Pioneer Plaza more hospitable and welcoming to the residents of the Second Ward? Because I don't see any difference. And that's it. Thank you.
Montes.
Thank you, Ms. Montez. Council President, I don't see any other attendees with their hands raised for public
We'll
comment.
close the public hearing then. Council responses to public hearing comments. I would start responding to Mr. Connors. Thank you very much for your participation on the committee. With your help, we drafted and ideally finalized we thought we finalized an ordinance identifying zoning and licensing of marijuana dispensaries. Shortly in September, the state established new rules on cannabis dispensaries. And so the administration the ordinance is currently ideally wrapping up their review of the state legislation and making sure that the ordinance is consistent with the state legislation. I anticipate it will be introduced or brought to the council for introduction in early November.
Stefan, does the town see any issue administratively with this ordinance? Because the state legislation regulations we don't know when they were coming. We were doing this in preparation ahead of the regulations.
Well, yeah, in either late August or early September, the state adopted their legislation. The commission essentially published their rules. So I believe Dave Michello or his team reviewed the new state rules and has been working with administration to make sure that our ordinance is consistent with the state legislation.
Dave, so far, do you see any inconsistencies?
I think that's part of a longer conversation. We have offered various amendments, and I think that's probably better suited for a subcommittee. We can go through them. Overall,
we have a subcommittee. We have a subcommittee, which is actually the group that Chris is referring to.
That's correct. So I think that overall, I think we're in very good shape. But I think that, obviously we did receive the new regulations, so there were minor changes, but overall, I think we're in good shape. But to go through them individually, I think it's probably more of a subcommittee issue.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Hi, I'd like to address two of the issues called in. I first want to thank Kristen Ace, our STC chair, for bringing the issue of the vines in our forested areas to our attention. Hopefully we could all find people that want to help out, and we'll be in touch with STC on it. Jennifer Wheel, I have been in contact with the public safety director since the end of August regarding the Assumption School. The police told me they have a plan. They've been monitoring it. I didn't know about the car accident. I'm sorry to hear that your daughter was in an accident, or anybody in an accident. I will tell you, I will get back with the public safety director tomorrow and discuss your suggestions, because I do believe that an officer needs to be there, and it should be on Assumption School to pay for an officer. It shouldn't be on the town people. And I understand completely with the overcrowding of cars, because people on Overlook and Ogden are complaining to me about this, and something needs to be done. So I appreciate you calling in, and I will try to get in touch with you. If you could email me your address to my, email me your contact info, I will get back in touch with you.
Hey, Stefan, with reference to Kelly Montez's question, a while back, there was some discussion amongst the town about what could be done with Water Street to kind of connect the green with MLK and kind of connect those retail districts, the possibility of maybe narrowing the wall, putting something on the wall between the cemetery and Water Street, and possibly widening the sidewalk and making it more desirable to walk up and down that area. Could we take another look at Water Street? I mean, I think that's what they're referring to, is the disconnect there.
Yeah, as your recollection was correct, we had looked into I think making I think we were looking at making Water Street a one-way and using the other half as such a larger walkway to connect the Speedwell Avenue to Spring Street.
Councilman, if I might, that's a federal grant that we received, the MLK Transit Connection Grant that we've been working on for a couple of years. It is a federal grant, so they take several years to come to fruition. They're in the middle of the design phase, so those improvements are underway, or at least they're moving forward.
Okay. That's great.
A one direction in which direction? We have so many one ways in this town. Going towards the green or coming away?
I don't believe it's to make it one way, but I do think it is to improve the pedestrian connection from the bottom of Spring Street up to the green via Water Street. It does not, it's a sidewalk up. It does not create a one way.
Okay.
It's a pedestrian connection improvement.
I also think the back of the plaza of the whole development is really not very friendly to Spring Street and Water Street. It needs to be improved. We're looking at the back end of a garage when you're sitting at the light on MLK onto Spring Street, and there's nothing friendly about it. I can understand the concern. It does cut it off. If we could talk to the owners maybe and get some improvement just to make it the appearance better. We're talking about putting a scrim on the parking garage for M Station to make that look better. Maybe we could look into something like that for Headquarters Plaza parking garage, because it is truly unappetizing to look at when you're sitting there. So I could understand her concern.
Well, I will say the MLK Connection Grant it's $1 million grant, and it affects the streetscape along Spring Street up through Water Street. But we'll certainly look into what improvements we can make for the parking garage as well.
Great, thank you.
All right. Moving on to mayor's proclamations and presentations. I believe we have a proclamation designating October 2021 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
We do, Council President. Before I start, I know our police chief is on. Darnell, could you make sure that Jillian and I get a report on whatever you've been looking at as far as Assumption School area? I live in the neighborhood, so it's been like that for a long time. So if you guys got some ideas I'm not aware of, could you let the administration know? I'd appreciate that. Second thing is there was a mention of Pioneers Plaza. I think the improvements speak for themselves.
Very nice.
So let's do the proclamation first. So this is on domestic violence, whereas domestic violence is not confined to any group or groups of people, but crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers. And the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, humanity due to the systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control or abuse, and destroys a victim's self-esteem. The Department of Justice estimates that an estimated 1.3 million women and 835,000 men are victims of physical violence by a partner each year, and some 16 million children are exposed to domestic violence every year. Women are 70 times more likely to be killed in the weeks after leaving an abusive relationship than any other time in that relationship. And almost 5% of male homicide victims are killed each year by an intimate partner. And whereas in Morris County, there are approximately 2,000 domestic violence offenses each year, representing but a fraction of the domestic violence in the community, since most cases are never reported. Each year, Morris County and its supporting agency serve hundreds of adults and children through its comprehensive walk-in center for the survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, dating abuse, and human trafficking. Each year, Jersey Battered Women's Service, JBWS, offers safety, support, and solution for abuse and answers over 5,000 helpline calls, provides over 17,000 nights of emergency shelter and transitional housing for over 210 victims and their children, accompanies approximately 1,000 victims to court, counsels hundreds of men, women, and children, and provides education to over 19,000 students and community members. Therefore, I, Timothy P. Doherty, Mayor of the Town of Morristown, on behalf of all the citizens, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Domestic Violence Aware Month in the Town of Morristown, to raise awareness of the crime of domestic violence and to urge all residents to support those working diligently to end violence in our lives. So I want to thank the many services, the JBWS and many other services that provide a safety net for domestic violence, people that are abused, women, men, children. This proclamation will be in my assistant's office, so they can come by and pick it up. Again, it's something I think that is an important subject to talk about and proclaim as something we can all share and talk to our neighbors and other people about. So our hearts and thoughts and prayers are out to those who are victims of domestic violence.
Excuse me, can I just make a statement real quickly? Tomorrow night on the Green at 6:30, Moms Demand Action is joining with Jersey Battered Women's Shelter for a march at 6:30 on the Green, if anybody wants to join us.
Councilwoman Mayor, could you please send that information to Kristen so she can post it
Yes.
on Instagram and Facebook, because we were not aware of that. Saturday, October 2nd, Morristown Shred event was in the back of Town Hall. Thanks for all those who participated. Sunday, October 3rd, our annual Fall Festival kicked off on the Green, and I want to thank the governor for coming and thank Jen and her team and all the vendors that showed their wares. It was a good turnout and a great day. So we really got very fortunate with a number of events we've had, whether it's the Jazz and Blues Festival, the Fall Festival, and the Book Festival, which I'll talk about in a minute. October 8th, we cut the ribbon at 1776 by David Burke, Top Golf new restaurant. It didn't actually open that night. We cut the ribbon and they kind of had a very small gathering. It is a beautiful restaurant, and I encourage all those to attend. Check it out. It did a wonderful job, a very large investment in the town of Morristown, and we're happy to have it here. October 9th, which just passed, was the Morristown Festival of Books. Grateful the rain held out, and it turned out to be a great day. Councilwoman, Mayor, and myself visited several areas of the festival, purchased some books, got some signatures, talked to some authors, and it's really it's a great event. My hats off to the original organizers of that event. It's a great festival for our town to have a book festival. So I'm very, very happy that Morristown can host such a great event. October 15th, mark your calendars. Anybody you know, seniors over 65, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Morristown Town Hall Health Division is doing flu shots. Appointments are required, so tell your neighbors to call 973-796-1975. It is posted on the website, Facebook, Instagram. We'll get the message out to the senior buildings. That's October 15th. If you didn't get your flu shot, you should all get your flu shot. And I'm sure you all got vaccinated. So we're doing okay in that area. So that's the flu clinic on October 15th. And the same day at 4:30, Grow It Green Morristown is unveiling their community recycle art mosaic, Rain or Shine, at Early Street Community Garden. 4:30, October 15th at the garden. Saturday the 16th, there'll be a ribbon cutting at 12:30 at the ceremony for Zen Aesthetics at 59 South Street. Zen Aesthetics was founded by Dr. Joni Jefferson and specializes in non-invasive, non-surgical rejuvenation treatments. I just saw the store last week, took a space, so people are still coming into Morristown and investing in our store, in our businesses. So we welcome them, and we'll be there Saturday at 12:30. So those who want to join, please come on down. General information, early voting. Any registered voter may cast their ballot earlier this year. Town Hall, second floor, 201, will be open from Saturday, October 23rd through Sunday, October 31st, during the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. That will be posted and sent out on our website, Facebook, and Instagram. So that's for early voting general election. So check our website for that. Mail-in ballots can be mailed according to the instructions, or a drop box is available at the back entrance of Town Hall by the police entrance. And I believe there's also one on Court Street by the administration building. So there's two places you can mail and drop ballots. For more information, you can call 973-285-6715 or email elections@co.morris.nj.us. or call the Morristown clerk at 973-292-6636. All this will be on the website and the Facebook to get it out. There's a special mention. I'd like for everybody to just take a moment. Marion Harris passed. Marion chaired the Morristown Historic Preservation Commission for 20 years and continued to serve under the current chair. She was dedicated to saving historic places, and she will be greatly missed. I met Marion in my 20s when I worked for Belcourt. That's how far back. She actually had an office in Belcourt. She was very well connected, very important person in our state for preservation, and she will be missed. I did speak to her son. They're not having a service, but I would like everybody to just remember her for a minute so we can give a moment of silence for Marion Harris. If you've been on boards in Morristown, she was always there darning socks, sitting in the audience, listening to zoning boards and planning boards. So she will be missed. So let's do just a minute of silence. Thank you very much. And lastly, homebound residents vaccinations. I post this there almost every day. It's out there. It's 973-451-4121. It's on the website. This is a county vaccination homegrown program. If you're homebound, you know any residents, any neighbors that are homebound and need a vaccination or a booster, they can be scheduled through atlantichealth.org, or you can call our office at 973-292-6626, and we will get you your booster, your vaccination. We will get that done. If you're homebound and you can't get out, especially people are getting boosters now. I don't know if Moderna is out yet for the booster, but I know Pfizer is approved. So those who had the 2 shots of Pfizer now should get their booster. And that's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Moving on to council liaison reports.
I can probably get started, Stefan. Morristown Partnership extends their thanks to the community, like the mayor said, for coming out for the festival this past week, 2 weekends ago. Great job by the partnership. It was nice to see they were very thankful to see all the people that came out. Special thanks does go out to the mayor, administration, and all the various departments who help support the event. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of coordination to get an event like that off. And the partnership, I think in partnership with the town, did a great job in that. The next event with the Morristown Partnership is the Halloween trick or treat in downtown Morristown, Friday the 29th between 3 and 5. And there's also going to be a posting soon on the partnership's website, which I encourage everybody to visit every once in a while. It's morristown-nj.org. They are working with the Department of Recreation here in town for the Great Morristown Pumpkin Hunt. So that information, I think, is coming soon there. It's they'll get on your list. They'll get on your list, don't worry.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Sandy brought up a good point, but it happened to already be on the agenda of the partnership for tomorrow, which is how we are communicating openings for jobs for people seeking employment, not just in our town, but also in our surrounding communities. Morristown Partnership does have a website where the employers in town do post job openings. Unfortunately, Sandy and I were taking a look at it with Jen through the day. We did notice that there's not a lot of postings there, but there's a lot of people in town looking for employees. So Jen's going to be working with the partnership to encourage more and more businesses to use that site. And they're going to be seeking the assistance of the town in terms of promoting that website. Again, keep the businesses going. They need employees. We have a lot of people in town that probably want to get back to work, maybe hesitant to get back to work. We should be encouraging them to get involved and hopefully stay local, help support our local businesses and help us get them going. But again, we're going to be, Jen's going to be reaching out to the various businesses in the area, asking them again to post on that site. We should all do whatever we can, and I know the mayor and administration will get the message out through all of our vehicles as to where people can go to look for a job with a Morristown employer. Other than that, the Morristown Partnership Board meets tomorrow, and they have a full agenda as usual.
Thank you.
Oh, one last thing, and I think it should be said. I think Jen in the town has done a very good job, and few people may disagree, but they've done a very good job in managing with the, is it Southwest Utilities Water Commission, Mayor? What's the?
SMUCA.
SMUCA, in getting the new water lines laid. It's a interference with business. I think the partnership and Jen in the town have been keeping the businesses well informed. They've been doing their best not to interfere with their operations. We recognize how difficult it is doing a project like this, but I think everybody is, including the partnership and the businesses in the town, are putting their best efforts forward.
Yeah, Council President, if I may, I'd just like to recognize really quick, thank you, Mr. Anacone, because that is a daunting project, the water. But Jillian Barrick has to deal with, on a regular basis, constant meetings with this water authority to make sure that they get the job done right. So she doesn't really get recognized for these types of things, but trust me, she is on the phone constantly with SMUCA to her own frustration at times, but she's done a great job keeping the lid on it and keeping it moving, also with PSE&G too. So hats off to our business administrator.
Thank you.
I'll report on Shade Tree now, but first I do want to say, I think everybody needs to remember that when the utilities are doing this work, short-term inconvenience, long-term benefit for everybody. So everybody just has to bear with it. Anyway, so Shade Tree, we are doing a fall planting. It's in the works. It's actually on the agenda to be voted on tonight for the trees. It will be 81 trees planted throughout the town, 2 wards. Jersey Cottage Park, we're reworking that with a wonderful grant that we are going to be accepting. The Shade Tree Chair is going to be accepting a grant October 21st for $2,500 that is going to be funding the Jersey Cottage Park, and they're doing a lovely planting down there. And our beautiful tree contest for summer, I don't have the winner. I think the voting just recently closed, but I will announce that at the next meeting. That's all I have.
Thanks, Sandy.
Morris Housing Authority, the latest is that the MHA is on the agenda for the Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency's November 4th meeting for final approval and release of funds to kick off the RAD in our senior buildings, which are 31 and 39 Early Street and 29 Ann Street. It is very important that the town council and all the residents in Morristown know that the MHA is doing great work in all fronts to make lives better for the people that live in any facility that is administered by MHA. Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right, moving on. There are no ordinances for introduction and no ordinances for adoption.
That is correct, Council President. We have 5 resolutions on the agenda for adoption this evening. Unless a member of council would like to hold one or more for separate consideration, I would ask for a motion to approve resolutions R-157 through R-161-2021 en masse.
Can I pull R-159, please?
So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-157, 158, 160, and 161.
Second.
Okay, on the adoption of resolutions 157, 158, 160, and 161-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Elms,
Yes.
Councilman Iannicone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution number R-159-2021, resolution rescinding a contract to Diamond Construction for the 2021 curb, sidewalk, and drainage project for the town of Morristown, New Jersey.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution R-159, 2021.
Second.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Yeah, just a quick question. When a contractor is awarded a bid and they default, are they allowed to bid in the future, or are they looked at unfavorably if they do bid, or is there no consequences? I've never seen this happen before. That's why.
I'll defer to the town attorney, but I don't believe that this constitutes a failure that would bar them from bidding on a future project, but I would defer to our town council.
That's correct. I would concur.
All right. Thank you.
And we have rejected bids, Jillian, in the past.
Yes, if they meet the criteria, yes.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, on the adoption of resolution R-159-2021, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Elms,
Yes.
Councilman Iannicone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mayer,
Yes.
Councilman Silva,
Yes.
Council President Armington.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, that completes the regular business. There's no unfinished old business, a new business. At the last meeting and over the course of the pandemic, we've talked about when would be a good time to return to in-person meetings. At the last meeting, in response to a public question, I had suggested, at least my opinion was to essentially consider going back to in-person meetings once the spread rate had been below 1.0 for a number of weeks. My understanding is that that has been the case for the last 2 weeks. So I wanted to see if the council wanted to return to in-person meetings. I also have been having conversations with Jillian administration about possibility of when we do go back, going back under a hybrid scenario, whereby the council can meet in person, and members of the public or members of the council, if so needed, can join via Zoom. I think that would present the best opportunity for people, especially as they're and may not be comfortable coming back. So I wanted to get the opinion of council and see where administration is in terms of setting up hybrid meeting technology, and when would be when they think that might be a reality.
Council President, if I might, we have been working on creating the setup for the hybrid meetings. We've been working with the clerk and our AV company. We still need some time. We've been working to try to assemble all of the equipment necessary. It's taken a lot longer to get all of the equipment in place. So we still haven't had a successful test run yet. So, with regards to the hybrid meetings, I would ask for a little bit more time on that. The other thing is I just checked the rate of transmission. It had dropped to 0.86 last week. It's still under 1, but it's up to 0.93 as of today. So we're still under 1, but it's turned in the wrong direction. So I'd like to continue monitoring that as well.
When do you think that the hybrid meetings would I think could be in place?
We have another test run we're trying to schedule in the next couple of weeks, but I still haven't gotten all the equipment yet. So I need at least a few weeks. So I wouldn't want to do something until at least the end of the month.
Okay.
And I also know that the land use boards and others are following our lead. So I'd like to ensure that they have ample time to plan as well.
I think my primary concern is I don't want to jump into regular meetings and then be forced out of it because of a spike. So that's I don't know where that's going to be, and I don't think anyone really knows. But that is a concern of mine, and I did have the opportunity to participate in a couple of the county commissioners meetings, one via Zoom and the other one in person, and I think they appear to do a pretty good job of the hybrid situation, and they do have all the technology. I guess I wanted to open it up to the rest of the council and see where they felt we should go.
Well, Stefan, along those lines, did we look at the possibility? You're going to always have spikes. This is with us for a while, and we're going to have to develop a level of flexibility, and that's just where we need to go. And we will go there. And I think we're doing the right thing by looking into the alternatives. But have we also looked at the possibility of alternate sites that may create provide us with that technology? We're in town, you've got the courthouse, you've got the county meeting space, you've got all these businesses in town that all have this technology at this point. Is there any thought to maybe, are we limiting ourselves unwisely just to council chambers? Because getting back live, I think, is important. We're doing a lot of important things, a lot of, and it's been a long time.
Also, I want to say I have found people in town that they want to go back to regular meetings. Many of them are not technology savvy, and they say, we would like to be there in the meetings. We don't have computer. We don't know how to manage that. We would like that to come back to regular meetings. That's number one. Number two, many municipalities have gone on having their meetings a presential way, but long time ago. And I even have to go to do some, to fix some situations in other towns. And all the time, all these past months have been in their own chambers. And one of the things that could be done is plexiglass in the chambers in front of us. Plus, we don't need to wait until we have the full technology for hybrid. We could broadcast or live stream in the meantime until we do that, because otherwise we will continue dragging this. And I don't think this is the best scenario to have the meetings.
Anyone else?
One comment, Council President.
Yes.
In the front page of today's paper, there was an article that talked about November and December. So although I think Mr. Anico is right, we're going to have to live with this. We have not entered into the moisture fall, colder weather yet. And there was a very large article from the CDC that talked about that we're not out of this. And November and December, you can count on it spiking. That was in NJ.com today. So although it's important to get back in-person meetings, I can tell you that while this format has reached a lot of people, I can tell you that on the planning board, we have more people attended than we ever had attended a meeting. So there's pluses and minuses to what we're dealing with, but I caution, I'll caution the planning board and I'll caution this council, be patient. Because this is, I was in the doctor's office last week. Delta variant is 400% more contagious than COVID-19. 400%. And it's not gone away. We post every day positives in Morristown. So get vaccinated. Those who haven't got vaccinated, tell them to get vaccinated, because that really is the first line of defense. But just be patient. Work on the hybrid, but be patient. That's all I got.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is there a way to give some type of instructions for those like who aren't as as Councilman Silva said, technologically savvy with their phones? So we know that you would go to the town's website and there's a link there, but I have had some residents say that they were having difficulty with that. So, I mean, I don't know, is there a simpler way to give some type of instructions, like written, where people could read through?
So the town website has both the meeting link as well as the phone numbers with the meeting ID and passcode. And we have had, although not often, we have had some people attend by phone. So those who don't have a computer, you can join by phone and use the meeting passcode. That's certainly what I would suggest for somebody who may not want to use the internet. I would certainly ask if you, I think that the instructions are fairly straightforward, but you know, if there's a way to simplify them, or if you think that they need to be simpler, I'm open to feedback for that.
When I spoke to the county commissioners and spoke directly afterwards with the commissioner director, he did express that you know the hybrid system has significant challenges for people who call in who wish to ask questions or participate. You know, works great for people who are just listening and want to you know, view the meetings, but he did express that the technology is just essentially not perfect. So,
and I just want to add that when we're talking going back in person, we're not talking to have a crowd chambers. I believe that we can have distancing. One bench is used with distance, next bench is not used. Plus we can wear a mask. I really think that it is important to start walking forward on to doing that. And I understand everything that is being said about the winter variant and everything else. But I think that with the right precautions, all of us are vaccinated and so on, we can go to the normal way of doing business.
So what's the desire of the council? I hear David and I hear Bob. Well, I'm not sure where Bob wants to go.
I think that you need the technology, and you either need the technology to be hybrid, which we don't have yet.
Yep.
Other entities do. You could look at exploring the possibility of doing it in multiple locations, but I think hybrid form of meetings has actually, I agree with the mayor, I think to a certain extent it's proven very powerful. And in fact, particularly with meetings where they have a lot of exhibits and what have you, it's actually easier for the public to follow the meeting by following the materials, as they're presented on a computer, but you still have people who want to participate in the process. And participating in the process has to be done live. And I think we owe it to the public to make that option available to them. It's their decision to come to the meetings or not come to the meetings. Mm-hmm. I think Pastor Silva is absolutely correct. You can have the meetings up in the senior center. We don't have to be limited to the chambers. Set it up so we're all socially distanced upstairs. Talk to the county about using a county office. I don't know. But, I think we just got to get a little bit more assertive in moving this forward.
Council, I would want to point out that all of the audiovisual setup is tied to council chambers. So if we were to move to another location, we would not be able to easily replicate the setup with the video and audio recording that we have in council chambers.
Yeah, but do we look at leasing? I don't know. You do a good job, Joe. I know you're doing everything you can.
And don't get me wrong, you can do anything with enough time.
Sure.
But the question is, is something feasible and reasonable given something a setup that's effectively temporary.
I have a question. But will we need like air purifiers in there? I mean, what will we have to do? Like, just to make sure for the safety of all. I mean, not us as well, but even the residents who come into these meetings. I mean, I'm sure it's just more than a setup to do a hybrid situation. Like, so what else would we physically in there?
Do you need to have a vaccination card? Do you need to, I mean, where do you draw the lines?
No, we can't. We
cannot mandate vaccine.
We can't mandate vaccines. Violation of the Freedom of Public Meetings Act.
Right. We can mandate mask wearing.
Well, can't you mandate a test 72 hours prior to coming into a meeting?
No, sir.
Okay.
So can we do temperature checks? I mean, if you go into a building, would you have to do like a temperature check? Would you have to? I mean, these are things that are still being done in other places.
We are doing that in church. We never trap the way we do the screening at the entrance. We have people with the thermometers. We have people with hand sanitizer. We make sure everybody has a mask. If one person doesn't have a mask, we provide a mask. We do social distancing. We have had 0 cases congregating Wednesdays and Sundays. So that's why I'm talking out of experience. And of course, it's much better in person than being remote like that.
But you just said, I'm sorry, not you per se, but we were just saying how you can't mandate a mask or you can't ask for a card. So
you can mandate a mask. The town hall has a mask mandate in place, and we can maintain that. You can't mandate a vaccination.
No, but you could take temperature.
Yeah.
You can take temperature.
So if I would ask Jillian at the next meeting and the following after that, just to give us an update on where we stand in terms of getting the set up for hybrid meetings and when we can get there. We move forward on in-person hybrid meetings, assuming the variant is not peaked.
Sounds good. All right, Council President, we'll get back to you, the administration.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
I
participating.
just it'd also be helpful to have an opinion from the health department, just so we're consistent with that as well. So I
Sounds
appreciate it. Anything else, Council? Any questions? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Council President, I'm so sorry. I meant to thank the Shade Tree Commission, so I want to just do that quickly. So I want to thank the Shade Tree Commission and town administration, DPW, for the removal of the invasive bushes that were growing in Jersey Cottage Park. And I believe that happened on September 28th. Residents reached out to me just to say thank you and tell me how beautiful it looks there. So I wanted to just say that.
Thank you. All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Aye.